Hey guys, this is Ben from Russound Tech Support. We're coming at you with more IR skills. This one is going to talk about setting a macro. So, creating a macro, we're going to do that together. And then I'm going to show you that macro being executed so you can see it in action. Macros are very powerful tools that allow you to simply map one button press or finger tap to execute a whole number of commands in succession. Super powerful, easy to use, easy to make. There are sometimes can be some hurdles. I was actually doing some testing beforehand, and if you don't have the right commands during your macro, then obviously that command won't be present when you execute the command. So it's definitely something where I would make sure you take one step at a time just to test your macro as you're building it. That way you know if there's an issue when that command is being is breaking down midway through that execution if it's not fully completed. So let's go ahead and figure out how we make a macro first. That can be done under the Source tab, the Setup tab, and right under the conveniently labeled Macro Builder tab. So we're going to go in here, and we actually have the ability of having up to 40 macros stored on the MCA. So you can go really wild with this if you want, if you're using a pretty IR intensive system, or you've got a lot of other third-party products you're also working with. You can name it whatever you want. I just have this one called Demo Macro. And now we just have to add some steps to this macro. I'm going to make a super straightforward macro. It's not going to be anything really functional that you'll use in real life, but it just serves as stepping stones to give you an idea of how you can utilize this macro builder here. So we're going to add a few steps here. Let's go ahead and just do 4 steps. So when we execute this macro, it's going to do them in order. Step 1, then step 2, then step 3, step 4. So let's go ahead and choose by this edit tab here, the pen. We're going to go ahead and edit our first command. The command type, we want this to affect only the Blu-ray player on that IR output number 1, which is where our source is. So we're going to select Blu-ray for every one of these commands that we do. Although you can actually execute a macro to modify other devices as well. So you have a lot of versatility with this. We're just going to focus on only having the macro affect one device. Now we have to assign a command for step 1. So what's going to happen with the first step? And that's going to be an open command. This is for the disk tray. I just like seeing that tray move in and out, and just satisfying. I don't know why. It just makes it easy for an example here, I guess. Alright, so we're going to choose the open command. The open command is the same as the close command as well, so check this out. We're going to do first command is open. This will cause the disk tray to open up. The next thing we could do, I ultimately want to have the disk tray close on its own, but we want to actually add a delay. We want to delay this for, let's do 5 seconds. That'll just make sure that once we send the first command, instead of just instantly sending the next command, it'll give it a 5-second delay, make sure everything's processed on that Blu-ray player, and then our third command is going to be, once again affecting only the Blu-ray player, it's going to once again actually be the open command, which in this case will actually close the tray, which is already going to be opened. Now I'm going to actually add a 5th one because I'm going to add one more delay here. We'll do another 5-second delay. Let's now add that 5th final step. Once again, only affecting the Blu-ray player. This is going to be for the power command. On will also serve to turn it off, so I'm just going to go ahead and select that. So when we execute this macro, it's going to, number 1, open the tray. Number 2, wait 5 seconds. Number 3, close the tray. Even though it is open, it's still the same as the close. Number 4, wait another 5 seconds. Number 5, finally it'll send a power command to the Blu-ray player and it should turn off. So let's now save this macro. And now we have a nice demo macro saved, which when executed will send this whole string of events. Let's apply that to the Blu-ray player now by doing, to apply it, we're going to go to our source settings here. Go back into the edit tab for source number 1. and we're going to take a visit to the command editor. Select command to edit. So we can actually map our macro to one specific button. Just to make it easy, I'm going to do the play button press. So just one press of the play button on our XTS when we go take a peek will be what executes the demo macro. And other command types, I can actually have that play button press execute any number of commands from the default library or the default commands or any other product library, or in this case the macro. The macro is what we want though. So when we press play button, it will execute macro called demo macro. We're going to save that. We're going to take a break in the video, and we're going to set up the camera over there so we can see it in action. Let's go ahead and try this. You'll also notice every time a command is sent, this IR LED lights up, and you'll see that every time a command is sent to the system. You'll see it the first time we execute the macro. The power state is shown here, so you'll ultimately see the Blu-ray player say bye when that power command is sent. So now let's go ahead and execute it. Step 1 is open tray. Step 2 is a 5-second pause. Step 3 is close the tray. Step 4 is once again a 5-second pause, followed by finally step 5, bye. That's the product turning off. So that's it. That's building a macro and seeing it function. I hope you guys have learned something. I've definitely redeemed myself in the eyes of my cat sitting next to me here, and he looks pretty happy. He's coming to examine my work. And I think he's pretty impressed. So we'll leave it at that. If you guys have any questions about macro building or any other topics, definitely let us know. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.